Hey everybody, it's your host, the Crazy Uncle. Hey, with Memorial Day coming up, I just want to go over something that is pretty important, and that is, what Memorial Day is all about. And it's not just the remembrance of everybody who served and all this other fun combat situations, but it's also for those left behind, those that came home, those that really, really need a little bit of help. And I'll let you know, as somebody who's been in that situation, I can let you know it's very difficult to actually ask for help or to even know if you need it. For most folks, I mean, we can deal. I mean, you do some pretty egregious things when you're out there. Civilians, you wouldn't understand. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. You see, when a veteran comes home and they've actually seen combat, which by the way is not a fun situation. I'll tell you that. Your adrenaline is just going like crazy afterwards. You're just shaking like a leaf because the adrenaline's trying to come down, and it's almost like a withdrawal. Anyways, one of the things to remember is you don't know what they did. Okay, um, if you know somebody in this situation, don't push anything on what they may or may not have seen. This is extremely important. They will let you know when they are willing to talk about it. But the fact that they're talking about it doesn't mean they need you to say anything. A lot of times, all they need is an ear, someone to just let them get it out. And the only time you should ever ask a question is if they use like uh, an initialism like PTSD, MLRS, is something along those lines. Anything you don't know. Mark 19, AT4, M777. Most of you civilians wouldn't know what the hell he's talking about. But what it comes down to is simply they need to they need time. Okay, most of us, that is what we need. Is we need time to deal with all the shit, and that's important that you give them time. And don't be surprised if they act a little, different, because the kicker is the person they were compared to the person they were is dead. That person was ended out in the field. And if you never had any case of PTSD before, you might not understand. Um, but let me summarize for civilians. Well, let's say you get in a car accident and it's a bad accident, and you got into an accident because you're fucking around on your phone. Well, chances are even if you are someone who texts constantly, you're going to text very minimally now, and you're never going to text while driving again. You're going to look at that phone as it goes off, as it chimes, and be like, "Tough shit. I'm not answering that." The person you were is dead. Now that's a lot lighter than the person who has dealt with all the goings on out there. And when it comes to this Memorial Day, when you see the guys over there from the Legion Hall and the VFW, don't snicker, don't give them a weird look. I want you to remember that a lot of these guys join these organizations so that they can be around other people that have lived through something similar. They would understand. They would have better advice than you do. I do recommend that anybody who's been in a combat situation join the VFW or the Legion Hall, and just sit and talk with them. Sometimes what you think is a big deal isn't such a big deal. Other times they can be the most consoling people in the world. And any military spouse, just remember, you are we appreciate you trying to console us. We do. We really do. The problem is you don't know how to do it. You don't understand the mentality that's there. And that is the major focus, is the mentality of it all. Because, well, you don't know how it's like. You don't know the actual camaraderie that happens there. And that's not a shot. I know if any of the womanists are watching, they'd be like, oh, well, you man, mama, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Drive on. No, we don't need to come in from a combat zone and deal with another one, because you don't want us to. It's hard to turn that valve down. Sometimes you don't have a choice. It just happens. You ask anybody who's been in a combat situation, they'll tell you this: some nights you just can't fall asleep. It just doesn't happen. You'll sit there and watch the clock tick up by minutes, and it's driving you absolutely bonkers. Guys will get up and do physical exercise. Guys will get up and walk around. They'll watch TV. They'll get on the computer. Just sometimes they drink. Sometimes something else to get themselves to lower down to the point where they can actually sleep, or else they won't function very well the next day. And we all know it. We've been there. But just be an ear. That's all we're asking for. We don't ask for much. Because and this is for you ladies to understand, we men are actually very complicated. We are. Which is why we try to simplify everything around us. That's the way we're hardwired. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't understand that. So just understand, if somebody is living very simplistically, it means there's a lot of shit going behind the curtain that you probably don't see. You probably never will see, but it is going on. And it is what it is. Now, if you are just going to be one of these folks who just has to pry and has to pry and has to pry, don't be surprised if they just explode. It's like a pressure mine. If you know what you're doing and you take your time and you're nice and easy, you can diffuse it. But you pry at it and it's probably going to blow up in your face. So, and just keep that in mind. Don't push it. All right. Now, for those who are left behind, the family members of those of us who didn't come back, and understand that we understand you're going through pain. Okay. We, even from the other side, we know it. We can only hope that the money you get is going to be worth it. So whenever you deal with that, just know that as long as they didn't sign away that life insurance policy, we know we're worth more financially. Okay, I'm talking money here. We know we're worth more financially dead than alive. But the thing is, we almost look at that as a bonus, because we know that we can take care of you. Know that they gave a shit enough to take care of you. Now, for those who were kids when they lost their parents, you have nothing but my sympathies. That's a hard one. There's no way around that. That just sucks. That sucks. Sweaty moose testicles. I mean, that's just bad. And for those of you growing up without a parent, do yourselves a favor and find somebody who can teach you the things that parent was supposed to teach you. You don't quite understand the duality of things yet. You will, especially since we're in the information age and people can throw that in your face and you're good. But, it is what it is at this point. Now, I will be putting out another video. It's going to be Sergeant Messer talking about, or he created a song after he lost a buddy of his. Now, his thing is he can actually write songs. I personally have never learned how to do that. I wouldn't even know where to start. But if you're listening to that, or you listen to that and then listen to this, just understand that, like the old phrase says, we fight not because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what is behind us. I want you to keep that in mind. Whenever you're holding those dog tags or that jacket or whatever it might be of the one who didn't make it back, note that is why they fought. Take solace in that. Some of us, we have a different type, and that's called survivor's guilt. And I hope you don't mind me diving into my own personal shit on this one. But on my second tour, I've had multiple tours to Iraq. On my second tour, I told this guy's wife that it's my job to make sure he comes back. As long as he's in my squad, I will keep him safe. And I kept everybody to the standard. He hated me for being on the standard. He was kind of a, hey, let's go out and shoot somebody type of guy. I'm like, hey, how about we take him out before they shoot back type of guy. But he got swapped out for a different squad. And oddly enough, or I should say unfortunately, he didn't make it. IED blast got him. And if you know anything about biology, you know what happens when the brainstem is damaged. He was the only one that we lost. Now, why do I bring this up is because I was in a leadership position at this point. And he was a very liked individual, very much. I let the other guys grieve, but who I had to be the rock. I didn't have a choice. That's what I had to do. Well, it's kind of difficult to be the rock when you're cleaning the blood out of the Humvee, replacing seats, changing armor, changing a tire, it's full of shrapnel, knowing that this is where somebody landed. Still being the rock. Still being the one everyone leaned on to get the job done. We're the type of people you hate when you know us. But once we're gone, you realize how good you actually had it. But that's survivor's guilt. Why was he taken when an IED hit my truck and I got away with just a messed up back a little bit, which they didn't even give me my Purple Heart for, but that's a whole nother story. And no, he didn't die in my truck. He was in another squad. So I want you to remember, this is the sort of thing that combat veterans especially, we have to deal with. So on Memorial Day, when you see those veterans and they're doing their walk, their stroll down wherever they're going, over here we have our Memorial Day march. We go from the town green to the town cemetery. And that's where we honor the fallen. I want you to look in their eyes and you'll see that same survivor's guilt. And you should be thanking God that you don't have to deal with it. Now, I always like to leave people on a higher note, so let me think of a funny Army story. No, I can't say that one. I'll get kicked off of YouTube. Damn it. All right, here's one for you. I was over in Hawaii, and we're just running lanes. And somebody drives up, and he calls for the platoon sergeant and PL. All of them. Like, what the hell's going on? When they did that, all training pretty much stopped, at least for a little bit. We kept going. And then we hear for the squad leaders got called, and we're like, oh, something big just happened. I'm thinking, hey, North Korea fought or chimed in. Yeah, let's go get some, as a young kid. And turns out there's a typhoon coming our way. We're like, oh, crap. So much for it swinging south. I mean, we looked up, bright blue skies. Well, they said dig in deep. Well, I dug in as deep as I could. I set up my hooch as low as I could. I grew up in the country. I mean, I know that you don't fuck around with storms. They will twist you in ways you don't want to know. Well, I'm out there, and I dug as deep as I could, as fast as I could. Nobody wanted to share a foxhole with me, so I said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And we got our MREs and everything, and I even dug trenches around the outside, spillways, so that in case we did get a flash flood, which were rare in that area, but they did happen. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be in this hole. Well, people fucking around thinking, oh, this is not a big deal. They didn't dig their trenches. They didn't dig the hole deep enough. They set their ponchos way too high. And yes, we had ponchos back then, not the tarps. I think the tarps are better. Actually, I know the tarps are better. Anyways, yeah, they got flooded out of their foxholes. That was funny. Just hearing, oh, you son of a bitch, fuck yeah, and a whole bunch of other expletives. Man, they get inventive and colorful. But nobody ever wanted to climb in the same foxhole with me. I still don't understand why. Maybe I snore. I don't know. I used to. A couple years in Iraq will cure you of that shit. But in any case, I thought it was kind of funny that like 3 or 4 guys in one foxhole playing, what they call it, Texas Hold'em. Let's face it, somebody always brought a deck of cards. Somebody always brought more cigarettes. So, I'm surprised they didn't burn their hooch down instead they got flooded out. So, thought that was funny. Well, maybe I just thought it was funny. There was the one I was playing out for, and here comes one, same duty station, by the way. Here come one guy, he's like, Doc, you get up on my ass. Don't go anywhere else. You stay up on my ass. And I'm whispering a little bit just because I got folks in the other room. I don't want to wake up. But that dude did not stop hearing about that. Sergeant, did you just say, tell him to come up on your ass and stay up in your what? Don't ask, don't tell is in effect, but it is what it is. So yeah, you'll hear goofy shit like that. Let's face it. We're all full of dark humor in the infantry. But anyway, I've been going for about 20 minutes. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you do have your Memorial Day plans scheduled out, and I do hope you spend good times with the family. Because let's face it, what else is worth it? And just remember what it's all about. All right, this is your crazy uncle punching out.